Welcome everyone to Google Office Apps Tips and Tricks. Today we'll be discussing how to make a table of contents in just a matter of a couple of clicks. And the way that we do that is by utilizing some of the features that we have in Google Docs. And right now we have this document opened up here, and it happens to be our quotes from famous authors. It has 4 different authors in it, with each with biographical information and quotes from one or more books. And we can see over here in our navigation pane the 4 different authors. In fact, we can use this since this is set up with our headings in our styles. In fact, we'll take a look here real quick. If I just click my cursor here, I can see that we are a heading 1. In fact, if I hit the drop-down menu, there's a check mark there. We can see that heading 1s are a little bit larger than heading 2s. They're blue. Heading 2s are a little bit smaller, also blue, and heading 3s are again still blue. These are the default headings and heading styles that Google Docs comes with. And we can see that they look a little bit differently. But most importantly, each of the headings has an outline level associated with it. So the heading 1, for example, is an outline level 1. That's what we have here with William Cuthbert Faulkner. And then we see the biographical information happens to be a heading 2. We see that up here. And then quotes from The Sound and Fury and also from this other book here are all heading 3s. And if we look over here in our navigation pane, we'll see that the author, being a heading 1 with an outline level of 1, takes the prime position, or farthest to the left. And then our heading 2, or outline level 2, in this case biographical information that we have made into a heading 2, it is indented 1 space. And then of course our outline level 3, which is a heading 3, is indented 1 more space. And since all of these quotes are heading 3s, they all have outline level 3s. And so that's why you see the outline kind of set up that way. And there's some definite benefits to having it set up this way, and one of which is to make a table of contents. But first, since we're on this page, just note that because this is a navigation pane, we can quickly navigate from one section of our document to another. So whether or not this document is 4 pages like this one is here, or you have a 10-page document, or even a 100-page handbook that you're creating, if you use the styles and the headings and the outline levels that are associated with them, then you're able to make some very quick changes. And that was demonstrated in our previous video on how to use styles and headings. But for our purposes right now, we want to go back up to the top because we are very quickly going to use this wonderful feature of heading and outline levels to make a table of contents. So usually to have a table of contents, you have them on the first page. So since we're here at the top of our document, you can see we're pressed all the way to the top. We need to make another empty page at the top. And one of the fastest ways to do that, of course, is to place your cursor in the prime position all the way at the top, in this case, all the way to the left. And then I hold down the Control key, and then all I have to do is hit the Enter key. And what that does is it bumps everything down, all 4 pages in this case, down a single page. So if we scroll up here, we can see we now have a blank page here at the top. And in fact, we now have 5 pages over here. We can see that. So again, if we want to navigate around, we could still move around. Everything's still working. And we're going to go back up to the top, but we're going to scroll up to this prime position. I'm going to try to put my cursor up here. And we'll notice that the cursor is kind of large and blinking in the middle. Well, that would be because we're still set with the style title. So let's go ahead and make this normal text at this point. And it's still in the center because that's where it was before, no problem. We'll go up here and do our left align on our quick access toolbar. And now we are at the very top of this first page, ready to go to install our table of contents. So at this point, it's very easy. How do you insert a table of contents in just a matter of a couple of clicks? All you have to do is use the headings and the outline levels associated with them, and then go up here to the Insert tab, and in the drop-down menu, we look down to the bottom, and it says Table of Contents, and we have 2 options here. Let's try the first one just to see what it looks like, blue with links. And so we can see that we now have this set up with basically just links that we can click on, and they will take us directly to those portions down there. That's pretty cool. So let's give that a try. So how about Ernest Miller Hemingway? We click right there on our little link that's been set up. It takes us straight to Ernest Miller Hemingway. We go back up to the top here and back up to where we were. If we want to see Victor Marie Hugo, maybe the biographical information, we can click on that. And of course, that link will take us directly to Victor Marie Hugo, the biographical information. Well, that's pretty cool. Well, let's go ahead and go back up to the top. And what we're going to do at this point is I'm simply going to undo that change, just because we're going to put a different table of contents, and that's the fastest way to do it. So again, we'll go back up to insert, down to the table of contents, and this time we'll put a regular one in place. There we go. So here we have, these aren't actually links, they're just the different headings. And again, we can see the outline levels, just like over here in the navigation pane, we see heading or outline level 1, outline level 2, and then all of these threes. We can see it looks exactly the same over here. And so again, the outline levels for each of the headings is a very important aspect to how all of this works. So here's our table of contents, and it shows us what page everything is on, and that's pretty slick. And just for fun, since this document doesn't actually have page numbers on it at this point, maybe we could just add those real quick. So you just simply double click anywhere in a header or footer, and then look at the options here over on the right. And let's see, let's go to page numbers at this point. And we have a choice. Do we want them in the footer or the header? I like them in the footer, so we'll select that. Do we want to show them on the first page? Perhaps. Let's deselect that just for fun. We'll start our numbering at 1, and let's go ahead and say apply and see what we got here. All right, so here we go. This happens to be page 1. We don't have, let's click away from that. Anytime you're working in your headers or footers, you get there by double clicking on it. And of course, to get away from it, you just click anywhere and it takes you out of it. So there is no page number on the table of contents, but we can see the page numbers that are over here on the consecutive pages. All right, so that's pretty slick. And by the way, if you want to, it's so easy to be able to fix these things. So right now we can see that it's over here on the left. I prefer to have it more on the right, but perhaps you want it in the center. You can simply do it that way, or put it on the right, where I kind of like it over there. And when you click away from that, you'll see that when you're working with the headers and footers, assuming you haven't created a second section, and that'll be another video we'll make, you can see that it affects in this case, the page numbers in each one of the footers is now in place. So there we go. We now have a table of contents with all of the different pages. So let's see, Alexander Dumas is on page 3. Let's give that a quick navigation. Boom, there we go. Alexander Dumas does in fact start on page 3. And let's take a look at this. If we go back up to the top, when we go to Alexander Dumas, the quotes from the Three Musketeers, that says it's on page 4. So let's give that a try. And sure enough, there's the blinker. There's the quotes from Three Musketeers. And if we look down at the bottom, it's in fact page 4. So what's the biggest advantage of doing your table of contents this way? For one, it's easy. You just simply make a few clicks, insert, table of contents, and then choose which one you're going to do. But more importantly, if I decide to add another a fifth or sixth author in here, and I start to change the way all this looks, that's all right. No matter how I do it and how many more I add here, whether it's just a couple of pages or 50 pages, it doesn't matter. All I have to do is just go back up, and I can use this little button here to update the table of contents to make that difference. So perhaps we could show that right now, just to show how that works. So we have William Faulkner as the first one, followed by Hemingway. Well, Hemingway is a much more well-known author in our world, so maybe we want to put him in the prime position up there where Faulkner is. So let's go ahead and go to Hemingway, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to drag down here and get all of the stuff that happens to go with Hemingway. Oh, I went too far. There we go. Right there to the Old Man in the Sea. And I'm going to cut that out. All right. And now you can see that it's no longer here on our navigation page. I'm going to go up to the top. And then what I'm going to do is, since my cursor is there, I'm going to hit enter, make a little bit of a space. And I'm going to right click and then paste. And let's see if we can make this work. All right, got an extra space there, no problem. Hit the backspace, get rid of it. And so we see that Hemingway is now in the prime position, followed by the second author, William Faulkner. So that's pretty cool. And by the way, if you also use Microsoft Word, just know that what I just did by copying and pasting took several steps. If you're in Microsoft Word, you can simply just left click and drag and move these authors and all of their subordinate information, the heading level 2s and the heading level 3s, everything that goes with Faulkner in this case. If I left click and drag it, I can put it anywhere that I want to and move it around the document. That easy, no cutting and pasting. But that's in Microsoft Word. Eventually we'll have that option in Google Docs when they catch up. But for right now, we go back up, we see Hemingway's in the first spot, and we see that, oh dear, we've got to update this. No problem. Just simply click on it, update table of contents, and there you go. It's now in the correct order, and you can see the page numbers have changed and all of that. And so that is a huge benefit when you're dealing with a large document. If you ever tried to make a table of contents the hard way, which is just to type something out and put the page number over there and then the succeeding sections and then putting that page number, and then if you have to go back and change something, then you have to fix the numbers for everything on all the way down to the end of your document. And if that's a long document, that's way too much work. Absolutely use the heading styles. It'll make your work so much easier. And so that's how you make a table of contents and be able to change things up. So thank you so much for coming with us today to learn some tips and tricks on how to quickly make a table of contents. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.